It's the Vinyl Vibe Podcast with your hosts, Jamie Bosenko and Marte Eldridge.
That's right. Join us as we grow our record collections and explore music from multiple decades and genres.
This season, we'll be listening to noteworthy albums that one of us or neither of us have ever heard, and we'll decide, are we going to turn it or are we going to burn it?
Let's do this.
Go. And we're back with another episode.
Hey, guys.
Another week of music listening.
I just love music.
Music ingesting.
Yes.
Gosh, it is great. Music is great.
It absolutely is.
Man.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, this is a podcast about music. It's already going so great. Hey, quick word though. If you listened to the last episode, you might have noticed that we had to close it out really fast. Producer Dave, he cracks the whip, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does.
He's rough.
He stays on top of us, though.
He does.
Yeah,
He keeps us in check.
We need that.
We do need that.
Yeah.
Because I will admit that we're still trying to get in the groove of how we're going to flow in this deal. And sometimes, because this is kind of a music discovery show, I'm tempted to do a deep dive. Well, it's fun. It's fun to do a deep dive on an artist maybe I didn't And we were we were listening to Bob Dylan's Highway 61 Revisited last week. And man, you can do a deep dive.
Yeah, you can.
It is a
There's so much
deep well of Bob Dylan.
There's so much we didn't cover that we
Right.
So much more.
Well, and I feel like what we did cover was a lot of Bob Dylan's history, and then we got shorted on because of our time frame, which is good to have a time frame, but then we didn't get to talk as much about the album itself. Right. And that's really what we want to do because that's what we're experiencing.
Yeah.
We're never going to be aficionados on these artists, but it's more about our experience and experiencing new things. And I love the album. It was great for lots of reasons, but we're going to move on and hope, we both said we'd turn that one.
Yeah, I just loved it.
Yeah.
But
and a week later, I'm still listening to it. So it's good stuff. But today's a new day.
It
we're
is.
on to a new album. But first, we need a hot take from our amazing producer, Dave.
Producer Dave, what you got for us?
We got his voice this week.
Yeah, today.
He's not yelling at us.
No.
Yeah.
I'm just speaking right into your ear.
Yeah.
Do y'all think that artists from the 21st century can be classified as the greatest of all time? Any artist that you can think of?
You're saying artists in the last 24 years, any of those can have the title. Is it possible for them to be, for us right now, to classify them as greatest of all time?
And it might bleed into the 90s. I don't know, because
I was just going to say, how do we...
older than 24 years.
How do we define that? Because there are people that started in the 90s and they're, they span into the 21st century.
Well, then I wouldn't call them 21st century artists. I would call them, I would say when they came out is the decade you classify them in, because you have artists making hits multiple decades. But yeah, if you came out in the 21st century, I think that's where you have to draw the line.
I will say I think there are a few people that you could, depending on the genre.
Okay.
So hip hop, for example.
All right.
Eminem is a 21st century artist, and there's arguments.
No, he's not. He's a 20th century artist.
No, Eminem started in the 2000s.
That's what I'm saying. That's 20th century. We're in the 21st century. Correct?
No. 20th century would have been 90s, right?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
20th, now we're in the 21st.
Right. He's a 21st century artist. Maybe I
started in the 20th century.
No, he didn't start in the 90s. He started in the 2000s.
Did he really? Eminem?
He may have been.
When did Slim Shady come out?
He may have been found in the late 90s, but his albums probably, I don't think they started coming out until the 2000s. And I will say, fact check me, but if that is true,
Bad internet connection here.
If he started in the 90s, if he started in the 2000s, there is a very strong argument that
Fact check this, producer Dave.
That Eminem could be, if you go off of his...
Are you going to tell me Eminem is considered the greatest artist of all time?
In the genre, in hip hop,
greatest artist of all
he
time.
is. If he is not on the Mount Rushmore, I think that
He's got one thing in 1999, and then the rest just
Boom.
after that.
Boom.
you're gonna count that, really?
Yes, I am. He's in the 20th century. I remember him being around. In the
What
90s.
album was it? What do you remember? What album came out in '99?
Slim Shady, Please Stand Up. Whatever song that
Slim
was.
Shady LP.
Yeah. Slim Shady.
What?
Boom.
Time out. Hold on. What is there? What month was this? Is this late '99?
February.
It doesn't matter.
Well, hey,
He's in the 20th century.
that's not fair. I guess. Okay.
You gotta draw the line.
Yeah,
somewhere.
I guess.
Yeah,
I guess you're right. But okay.
Let's
I
say
mean,
recent artists on the top.
Even more. Let's go because I think the argument is, or the discussion is around, have they had enough time to prove that either their songs have the staying power or that they have the creative juice to keep putting out music we like, And so I think the argument is artists that did that in the 20th century have had time. It's kind of like any classic work, like a novel or something like that. It's like you call it a classic because it has the staying power. It like does something for us that we can't just get. Like Treasure. I just read Treasure Island.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great story, right? It has the staying power for hundreds of years to be around, to be a story we keep coming back to, and people keep remaking it because there's something about it that just through the test of time. And so for music, it's like, but can new artists should we classify them as greatest of all time this soon? Maybe, is that the argument or the question?
yeah, I think that is difficult because there's one caveat that some of the newer artists are probably going to go back to some of the older artists and sort of sample so how can you be considered great when you're? I mean, I think you can be, but you're using great artists before you to make yourself great. Which there's nothing wrong with that, but that then calls back to that calls back to the previous, you know what I mean? Like calls back to the people that you're standing on the shoulders of. So anyway,
and that's one of the great things about music.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything wrong about that as long as
Right.
you sort of pay homage to the people you've.
I think you always should.
before.
I think that's just a part of.
Well, it's an interesting question.
It definitely is.
Yeah.
That can't be answered in
It
25
just
minutes.
can't be answered. Can't be answered.
Not in 25 minutes at least.
Maybe in the 22nd century we'll have an answer.
Yeah, there you go.
But we got a new album, and this is in the 20th century, and some consider it one of the greatest albums. And last week we were so rushed we didn't get to prep what album we were going to listen to this week.
Yeah.
But this week we did listen to a new album, Aretha Franklin, I Never Loved a Man the Way That I Love You.
Yeah,
It's a long title.
But it's actually a song too.
And it's a song. It's a mouthful as an album and a song.
Yeah, that pressing I was very intrigued by also. Jamie, the pressing.
I don't know
It's-
where
it's
the
right
record
underneath.
went. Oh. Yeah, this is very
a
beautiful.
really
It's like
nice
a pink.
pressing. Yeah, cloudy.
I'm a fan of the colored vinyl.
That is a great.
I really like it too. But up.
Yeah.
There it is.
Yeah, this is a great album.
I'm just gonna do this the whole time.
Great album.
Yeah.
Great
So a few
listen.
facts.
I enjoyed it.
I
for sure.
I really enjoyed it too. She was the so just a few quick things. We're not going to spend a lot of time on Aretha Franklin's background. You could though, in my
There's a lot.
There's a
lot
lot
to
there.
it.
Yeah, for sure. She was the first. Did you know this? She was the first woman to be inducted in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
I did not know that.
I didn't know that. It was really cool. She was twice named Rolling Stone magazine's greatest singer of all time.
Wow.
I know. I Never Loved a Man the Way I Loved You. This album is the 10th studio album. So kind of the quick story of just her recording career. She was with Columbia Records. They noticed her talent. I mean, well, okay, take a step back from that. She was a singer even as a young child. Her father would wake her up. He'd have these parties at his house. He was a preacher, but he was connected to some other famous people. They'd come over to the house. They'd wake her up and have her sing. So a lot of people knew her, recognized her as a great singer, even at a young age. Kind of skip ahead over some pretty tragic stuff actually that happened in her life. Did you know she got pregnant at 12 years old?
She did.
Isn't that crazy? Just a lot there, obviously. But anyway, so signed at a young age to Columbia Records. She did 9 unsuccessful albums of jazz standards. Just couldn't get a hit, couldn't make the magic happen. Jumping over a lot of stuff, but finally she was approached by a producer at Atlantic Records who recognized her talent and said, "Hey, we want to make a record that's you." And last night I drank a latte at 7:00 p.m. I was wired. Don't ask me why I did this.
Why?
I don't know. I was hanging out. I was feeling saucy. I drank a latte. Okay. Midnight rolls around. I'm just like, boo-ba-doo, ba-doo-boo-boo. What am I going to do? I just be up all the time. So I turn on the Aretha Franklin
movie.
It's
so good.
It's so good.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, so you've seen it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Best scene, in my opinion, is when this happens, right? And so they bring her into Muscle Shoals recording studio, famous recording studio. I think I pronounced it right. Muscle Shoals?
Yeah.
Yeah. Recording studio. It's such a great scene. She walks in with her husband. They're the only black people in the room. All the studio musicians are white. And they're kind of looking at them. And the musicians are, they're looking at each other like, who are these folks? This is going to work. It's a little awkward. But it's beautiful when they get down. She gets down to the piano. And she's trying to take this cover, right? And they're trying to work it out. How's she going to make it her song? And the band's kind of adding their flavor. They're kind of, and it's so great watching the magic happen when it all kind of comes together. It's such a great scene. So if you haven't seen the movie, it's really worth watching. For her story, obviously, but for this magical moment, it's really special, and they all know it's special. People in the recording box, they know it's special. They walk away from that session. Everyone's like fired up for this, especially Aretha. She's like, I've never sounded this good. Then her husband, who was kind of at his own demons and problems, kind of blew up the whole thing. It was a long story short. She walks away from Muscle Shoals, from the whole recording, frustrated. She walks away from her husband, not, just for,
They
don't talk. For like 3 months, she's not answering phone calls from her husband, from the recording studio. They released that one track. This is crazy.
And it
blows up.
Yeah.
The family doesn't even know it's been released because the recording studio's been trying to. They don't even know. She's walking down the street with her family. She hears it being played. And they're like, wow, this sounds great. I sound great.
It was great.
So then she calls him back, right? And she's like, let's do it. And this is the part I love. I want those boys from Muscle Shoals to come up to New York because they got soul,
Yeah.
And so it's just this magical thing where when she walks into that room, they're unsure about each other, but the magic happens. Isn't like they become her band.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's really fun because the movie, the film highlights a lot of famous people that have been integral in her life.
Influential. Yeah.
She was on a tour with Martin Luther King on tour, on his campaign as he was preaching. She would sing. This is before she became famous. So there's a lot of cool people in the movie, but I love that they highlighted those studio musicians because they were so integral in so many people's albums, but they rarely get a spotlight.
Right.
And it was kind of neat to see them come together and see how music brought people together in that moment.
Yeah.
And then you hear that. Now that's colored the way I listened to this album.
Yeah. Yeah.
Made it really fun. So let's get to the album. What'd you think about it?
It was it's just like kind of her expression of emotion in a lot of ways. And I found I was listening to it, I was kind of like, oh, I wonder, because I had watched the movie a long time ago, and so I wasn't able to kind of have that perspective that you were able to have after listening to it. So like I was listening to it, I was like, I wonder where she is in her life, because there was a lot of it felt like it was relationship, sexual exploration, kind of man-woman dynamics, like all kinds of things that she was sort of exploring in this album. And I'm like, I wonder where she was like as a person, as a woman at that point. And then, just kind of going back and doing my own little research and recognizing that she, I think she was 24, 25 when this album came out.
I was going to look it up. Could you fact check, Producer Dave, how old she was?
Yeah, I think she may have been 24, 25, something like that. Had already had 2 kids at that point.
I think she had 3.
Was it 3?
Maybe.
Yeah, and 2 of them were kind of not. I mean, like you mentioned, she had a kid at 12.
Well, she got pregnant. I don't
She
know.
got pregnant.
Yeah,
at
I don't
12.
know. If she,
I think that was.
she
But
gave
and
birth.
then these were like not good. You know what I mean? Like
Sure.
she didn't have a choice.
Her life
and
was rough.
Her life was rough, and so that even like I was kind of going back thinking of those things and shaping how she sees the world, like and that expression of how she put that like on wax, like how she expressed that in music. It was bluesy. The first song, RESPECT, like Respect, is obviously everybody knows that had a little bit more bounce to it, but everything else was sort of bluesy. And then I was surprised I didn't know that there were 2, I think, covers sort of.
They're mostly all. I think they're all covers.
Are they really?
That's a good question.
She began her career in the 60s at age 18.
Okay, so I think this.
Yeah.
Well, that's when she got signed to Columbia. She was already with Atlanta. Do you know how old she was when this album came out? He's still looking. Actually, let's see here. She has writing credit on track number 5, track number 6. Oh, Dr. Feelgood. I didn't know she had writing credit on that.
Do Right Woman and Change Is Gonna Come, like those ones.
Okay, so they're not all. I stand corrected. This is good. This is good for me.
Those
to know.
2, are those covered? I'm sure they're covered.
Which ones?
Do Right Woman and Change Is Gonna Come.
Yeah, it's a cover.
Those 2.
And Change Is Gonna Come is Sam Cooke, and so is Good Times. She does 2 Sam Cooke songs.
So
Yeah. But Do Right Woman, I love that
it's
track.
a great song.
It's a great song.
It's a great song. I think my favorite was probably Do Right, but it's because I knew that song. But also Soul Serenade was such a good song.
Oh, yeah.
It was it was bluesy. It had a little bit of bounce to it, not a ton of bounce, but like, it was just a really good song.
Yeah.
I found myself kind of going, oh man, I need to repeat that. Like, go back.
Oh,
and
that's
listen to that
cool.
again. It was a very good.
Yeah. I'm with you. I like Respect, but you've heard it so much, it's kind of hard.
Yeah.
It's honestly hard. It's like, I kind of skipped it, to be honest, because it's like, I want to get into the rest of the album.
It's a great
that
song.
I haven't really.
I will tell you, I didn't realize the song was about what it was about.
Respect?
About. Yeah. It's
What do you think it's about?
it's a little bit more to it, I think. I was definitely more of like, when you come home, treat me with a little respect, and I need my time with you, if you know what I mean. There are children here.
It was an Otis Redding song.
I didn't know that, so that's a cover as well. Okay.
Yeah, so Otis Redding made it. He wrote it. It's and he released it. It was a hit for Otis Redding. But interestingly, when she released her version, Otis Redding heard it and he goes, "Well, I lost my song." Because it was a much bigger hit.
Yeah.
Obviously for her.
Kind
It's
of
her
like the
biggest
anthem,
song. Yeah.
I feel like, of this album. I Never Loved a Man the Way I Love You. And it was sort of an anthem. It's showing like.
Well, it got taken, at the time it was, everybody would have just recognized, oh, she's just covering Otis Redding. But since it kind of took over as her song, just the idea of a woman getting respect, people kind of latched onto that, which is great. And then also the African-American culture, especially at the time, at the late 60s.
Yeah, I think, and that's the perspective that I heard it from. Like, I didn't really hear it from what it was what the lyrics actually. So I was sitting back listening to the lyrics more so, and I went, oh, okay.
Yeah, when you hear Otis Redding, you realize, oh, this is about a man coming home, made his money. Here's my money. Now I need some time with you, honey. Yeah, yeah. That is the song.
That's the song.
And so it's kind of funny that you would have never thought, oh, a woman should sing this too, But she makes it work, and it becomes her own, and it kind of takes on different meaning, and that's kind of when we were talking about standing on shoulders, you know?
Yeah.
I think that's cool.
Even
and it shifts the meaning sometimes.
It does. Yeah, but I mean, emotionally, like I was hooked. I mean, honestly, from the first song, like I was hooked. Regardless of, it's timeless. It's a good song. The whole entire album, it is one of those classics. Like you can just turn it on and not have to worry about anything.
Right.
Just let it play. Her voice is so soulful. She had some blues tracks in there. She had some soul in there. Like it was good. And you can tell she kind of got her. She sounds like a person that had an upbringing in church. Like her voice or vocals are a little like gospel background kind of deal, which I enjoy, and I like that as well. Then she spent some time like in gospel. She had gotten
for sure
stuck in alcohol, and as part of her rehabilitation, she went into gospel and sang gospel, and I think she
grew up in gospel because her father was a preacher.
Dad was a preacher.
She was singing in church.
She even like did the whole album with another famous gospel singer, the one that she's most known for, like the big hit gospel album. But yeah, that was it. Overall was a great listen. I enjoyed it. Like I said, I think my favorite song was probably Soul Serenade. That was such a good song.
That's cool. Yeah, I agree with you. I think the band and the chemistry, they hit these pockets of like this groove, and they carry it through the whole album. That's just a little bit of everything. It's obviously soul. That would be the big,
right.
And this is the first soul album we've gotten to do, which is fun. And what a great one, because they hit that. It's definitely soul, but yeah, a little bit of gospel, bringing those guys from Muscle Souls, they bring in sort of that, I don't know, there's a little bit of Southern swagger in there, It's just a little bit of everything, and it just kind of works, and then they just let it translate through every track, which is so fun. And it was fun to again, going back to that film, it's who knows how accurate it is, but,
right.
But just to realize, these people just get in a room, and they're like, let's play with it until we find something that works and is magical and special, And so I thought that was really cool. I think my favorite track is still "I Never Loved a Man the Way That I Loved."
It is a good song. That build up
and just the
story.
too,
like,
and then it stops, and then she says the hook,
famous hook,
and her background singers are like on every track. I don't know. I'm sure we could look back here, and we should give them props. Her background singers, who are with her and like helped her develop. I mean, they were full members of the band, and so that was kind of neat to see.
Yeah.
You realize this isn't just an album where some producer was hanging over them saying, you do this, you did that. I mean, they were all
there's some creative influence.
Just these, this group of people. And it's like, let's all contribute. Let's all make this sound.
Yeah.
And that made it more of a piece of like art captured in time, I think, for me, than it had been before. So I don't even know if I need to ask this question. Marte, are you going to turn it or are you going to burn it?
I will absolutely turn that sucker.
Yeah.
That was, I mean, it was fun for me to explore that and listen to that and hear that. And I could hear some of today's music in that, like in some ways where people are going back to pay homage to that. And vocally was great and clean. And all the instrumentals, beats, like it just was, it was a very clean album.
Yeah.
Like I said, you turn it on and just let it go. And it's just good.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna turn it too.
Okay.
Big surprise. You were getting worried.
Yeah, I was getting a little worried.
Of course I'm gonna turn it. Gotta turn Aretha. And one thing more I think I'll say, she was young, but man, especially the last time I listened to it, I realized, man, she sounds like an old soul.
Yeah.
Yes. And I think maybe that was part of her uniqueness of her style was that that almost blues, not that the style is inherently bluesy or her voice even, but what comes with the blues is some sort of grit.
Yeah, it has to be.
And again, not that she's like overly rough on her vocal, but you could just tell
there's some grit in there.
She's been through some stuff, or just an old soul probably is the best term. And I think that's part of her beauty and her uniqueness, and it's there and you feel it.
Yeah.
And I also didn't know she plays piano on every track.
I didn't
She
know
plays
that.
her own piano. She's sitting at the piano. So she's like one of the musicians. She's in there.
I did not know that.
Yeah, she's not just. And I think it's because I didn't realize that because I think most of our minds of seeing her like on television and stuff, especially when she gets older, she's like on the stage, on the mic, walking around. But yeah, recording this, she's at the piano at every track.
Yeah.
Played by ear.
Such a great album.
Yeah.
Such a great album. Hey, what do we listen to next week?
Well, let's have a discussion. How much time have we got? We have 1 minute to decide. No!
I think we're it's between the Kinks and what's the other that we thought about?
Mail in your request of album. We should have a way people can request albums.
That would be great.
That would be great. We don't know how you can do that yet. Would you do the Kinks?
Yeah, let's go for the Kinks.
Okay, fun.
All right. Self-entitled Kinks album.
Yeah, self-titled.
Self-entitled.
Self-entitled.
Self-titled.
Your self-entitled album. Golly. All right, guys. Well, thanks for listening. And listen to the Kinks' first album, self-titled. And, we'll share our thoughts next time.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll see you soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for joining us for another episode of the Vinyl Vibe Podcast. To keep up with which album we're listening to, you can find us on Instagram at the.vinyl.vibe, or you can check us out on our website at thevinylvibe.info. There you can click the drop down and select podcast and find info about your hosts or producer Dave, and find past episodes.
Also on our website, you'll find a link to our YouTube channel where you can watch videos of our conversation. And please like, subscribe, and leave a review wherever you get your podcast.
We want to thank Jasper Redding for producing our theme song, David Hernandez for producing this episode, and we hope all of you will tune in next week when we'll have another album to turn
Or to burn. Peace out.
See you guys.